Hello, I'm Sean, your movie madman, and I'm back. And today is Friday. Very exciting for you. Today we're continuing our censored versus uncut subject, and today we're talking about the US PG-13 versus the 12 and the 15 in the UK. So get excited, yeah? So today I'm talking about PG-13 versus 12s and 15s. But before you get too excited about that, I'm going to do some showing off. A couple of videos back I showed you that I'd got a slipcover for my new Across the Spider-Verse 4K because it came without one, which was very rude. So I used the same source from eBay and I got some more. So I've got them to show you too. So I got a slipcover for Spider-Man No Way Home, which was actually a really nice slipcover, to be fair. It's beautiful, that, isn't it? If a lot of you got Spider-Man No Way Home without a slipcover, you can get it with one, or more, you can get the slipcover on eBay. So also got one for District 9, just because I got District 9 on Blu-ray as a steelbook, and I was quite disappointed when the 4K came through and it looked... I was quite disappointed when the 4K came through and it literally looked like a lower quality version than the steelbook I had, just because it's sitting on the shelf without a slipcover. So I've got a slipcover for that. And then I also got a slipcover for Bullet Train. Now this is a really beautiful slipcover, actually. I love all the really bright colours on this, and the fact that that front cover looks like it's been hand drawn and things like that. You've seen this one before, and there's the back for you as well, which is basically the same as this back. But yeah, Bullet Train slipcover for you there too. A lot of you think, like, what have you bought slipcovers for? You're a bit weird. What's the point in buying slipcovers? But you know, collectors like to have a slipcover a lot of the time. So sorry. Let's dig into our subject for today, censored versus uncut. There's so much to cover today. First off, I wanted to destroy the rumour. There's a really big rumour that every single PG-13 rated film in the US is a 15 over here. That's not true. Also, a lot of people think that the PG-13 rating in the US means that everything over here is a 12. That's not true either. The PG-13 is both, if that helps. A lot of people will argue and say no, every single PG-13 rated film in the US is a 15 over here, but that's not true. Like I just said, look at it like this, right? All of the MCU is PG-13 rated. How many of them are 15s? None of them, that's right. So firstly, my first example will be to show you will be Aquaman. I got the first Aquaman. This was a 12 over here because it was cut down to a 12 actually, so it should have been a 15, but they cut out a few shots. I got the PG-13 uncut version as well. But yeah, so that's your first one. If you want to see what was cut, or censored should I say, what was censored from the 12 version, there will be links to movie censorship like I have done in the last few weeks. But yeah, so that's your first one. Aquaman was cut down to a 12 over here. Did you know that? Did you know that? Yeah. Next up we've got Casino Royale. This is the uncut version of Casino Royale, which is rated 15. The PG-13 version of this in America was, well, obviously a PG-13, but they toned down the torture scene in the middle of the film. You see the end of the rope in the PG-13 version, so they lifted it up to a 15 a little bit over here. So there's that. I've probably mentioned that cut of Casino Royale before, so I do apologise if I'm repeating myself a little bit. Next up, there's The Fate of the Furious. This is Fast and Furious 8. This is the PG-13 version, which has the uncensored shot at the end of Vin Diesel stamping on someone's head. It's shot from a completely different angle in the 12 version, just to make it look a little less violent. So that's what they did to that. Again, links will be at the bottom, so have a look at that. Then you got these babies, the Maze Runner and the Maze Runner 2. These were both rated 12 in the cinema, and they were both cut down for the cinema to make a 12 version. The PG-13 versions obviously weren't uncut, but then when they came out on Blu-ray, you got them uncut as well, and on the 4Ks they're uncut too. More excitingly, on the inside you got the uncut version here and the censored version here, so if you wanted to see the difference, you've got both versions there. Same with the Scorched Trials, you've got the uncut version on 4K, and then you can see the censored 12 version there as well. So if you wanted to see the difference, you can literally watch the difference too. There's probably a lot more in this that was censored and cut than there was in the first one, just because there was a lot of zombie focus in this, and I'm pretty sure there's a zombie biting off the head of a rat and stuff like that. It just gets a bit very too much for a 12, but you know, America don't care so much about scaring their audience, so you can still get away with that in a PG-13 in America. Then we got Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Christopher Nolan's Tenet was a 12 in the cinema. They cut out literally about 3 seconds from this film. I got the uncut version as well, just because I'm really cool like that. This isn't the PG-13 version, but it's exactly the same as the PG-13 version. I just got the steelbook from Italy, just because I wanted to have this steelbook. So I've got the Italian steelbook there. But yeah, so yeah, there's a very, very exciting moment where Kenneth Branagh makes a strange noise and supposedly kicks his wife on the floor. But you don't see it because it's off screen. So why they had to cut that out of this, I don't know, because it was off screen. But I guess the insinuation was there, and it looks like quite a heavy kick, and he makes this strange noise. Maybe it's a strange noise that they cut out because they were like, well, that's a bit weird, we'll have to cut that out. But yeah, so like if you look at that PG-13 rating, they cut down. They did an experiment with Deadpool 2 and released it again and called it Once Upon a Deadpool. And they cut stuff out. They cut out all the swearing and most of the violence and made it They cut out all the swearing and most of the violence and made it a PG-13 in the US. But then that was still too violent for us over here, so it was a 15 over here. The Batman was rated 15 over here, even though it was PG-13 in America. So there's that. Although to be fair, all you have to do is watch the Batman for about 5 minutes and you can probably tell why the Batman is a 15, because I think the Riddler in this is just terrifying. He's just such a menacingly terrifying character, and I think he would just scare younger children, especially British kids. Anyway, British kids are a lot more sensitive than American kids. Then you got these two bellends, Venom and Venom 2, were both rated 15 over here. Mainly because Venom is quite a scary character. Anyway, it's all about being scared at the end of the day, which will bring me on to my next bit in a minute. But yep, these two were both 15 rated over here, and they're both PG-13 rated in America as well. Nothing was cut from them. Quite why they couldn't have cut stuff out of Venom just to make it a little less scary, but to be fair, the films are pretty short anyway, so that's probably why they were like, yeah, we're not going to cut anything out of that. But like I say, there are so many PG-13 rated films that are also 12 rated, like the entire MCU. They're all 12s and they're all PG-13 rated in America. Indiana Jones, I'm pretty sure, was PG-13 in America, and they're 12s over here. There's a lot of them. What have we got up here? The Bourne Identity would have been PG-13 in America. Star Trek down there is a PG-13 in America, and they're all 12s as well. So there are many 12s that are released in the UK that are PG-13 rated in America, and they get released over here and nothing is cut. There are some of them that have to be cut and trimmed down to a 12 a little bit, and then usually they're re-released as 15s when they come out, but that's up to the BBFC really, isn't it? Like, they don't like to dwell on violence a little bit too much. A bit like the first Maze Runner, some of the stuff that was cut out of the first Maze Runner, some of the stuff that was cut out of the first Maze Runner was just a close-up of someone's injury on someone's chest. You see it once in the 12 version, and you see it twice in the 15 version, because they're dwelling on it. Harry Potter would have been PG-13 rated in America, and they're all 12s over here, and nothing was cut out of them. So there's a massive list. I think the biggest things that you get that are PG-13 and 15 rated over here are probably the horror films. I'll probably go as far as to say probably about 50% of horror films that we get that are 15 rated are all PG-13 rated in America. Basically, the best way to look at it is, if you watch a horror film that's not that violent and there's hardly any swearing in it, then it's probably a PG-13 in the US. Whereas over here, they're rated 15 because the BBFC don't like scaring the audience. They really don't. They're worried that people will get too scared, apparently. But as time has gone on, you can see how 12s have become a lot more heavier. Like 15s have become a lot more heavier. There used to be a limit to the amount of times you could say fuck in a 15, and now there isn't. And because of that, loads of films that are 18 rated were then declassified as 15s. I've got a big bunch of 18s on my shelf that are all now declassified as 15s. Die Hard is now a 15 and it used to be an 18. Halloween is now a 15 and it used to be an 18. Psycho is now a 15 and it used to be an 18. There's a lot of them that have just been declassified just because of violence. Violence is different now than it used to be. There are some films that are still pretty violent and they're still 18s. Like I still got The Thing, the 1982 version of The Thing is still an 18. That hasn't been declassified, so you're bored now, aren't you? Me too. Yeah, I don't think we need to go into that anymore. But yeah, I really wanted to settle the argument that just because it's a PG-13 in America doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a 15 over here. But it also doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a 12. The PG-13 in America is both over here. Alright, it's both of them. It's not one, it's not the other, it's both of them. Alright, so stop arguing, or stop trying to tell me that every single PG-13 rated film is a 15, because it's not. Alright, I know it's not, and now you know as well. So, that was an extremely exciting video for you, wasn't it? Bit of showing off at the beginning there for you as well. But I think that's it for today. Yeah, I'm gonna go. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'm gonna fuck off. Okay? Goodbye.